the Miss France for Show home edition. As always, I look amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is padding, but whatever. Okay, you women know exactly what's going on and what we have to do to look this amazing and to get men attention. But anyway, today I have with me, you all know I'm not good at pronouncing names, so she got to fix this. But it's Kerra Denel.
Yes, look at you.
I get it good.
Most people butcher money.
So, Miss Kerra Denel is the founder and CEO of Kerra Denel Entertainment. She does marketing. She's a talent specialist, among a host of other things. Let me tell you something. To get this woman on this show, I basically had to beg, I have to text, is WhatsApp. I had to email. I'm fed up and I'm tired, okay? So thank God she's on this show. Right now, I have someone right next to her holding a gun to her head. That's the only reason she's here. But anyway, hello, Miss Denel.
Hi, darling.
Honey, lover, sweetheart. The first thing I want to ask you, how the hell you always looking so good? I swear to goodness, I swear all them people who liking your photo, any of them is women, they're upset. How are you so naturally beautiful? Is it the lighting?
It might be the lighting, I feel like it might be a combination of, the lighting and the air.
And the Botox, the plastic surgery, what you're doing? I don't understand. I need your whole skincare line, because I hope that's something you're working on next, right? A skincare line?
Yes. We have to work on beauty products and clothing and everything. It's in, the pipeline.
Because when I saw you, I was like, okay, since she deal in woman empowerment, I'll try not to hate. So because of you, I didn't even hate you. But anyway, the first thing I want to so I want people to kind of get to know you a little more, right? Obviously, you're from one of the greatest islands on earth. What country are you from?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh God! Oh, you hear that? It's Trinidad. So you were born in Trinidad?
Yes, I was born in Trinidad and I migrated to Toronto when I was in my teens.
Okay, one of the things I always like to ask people who migrate, what was one of the hardest transitions for you coming from a small island such as Trinidad to a big country such as Canada?
I would say, because when I moved to Toronto, I moved when I was in grade 7. It was grade 7 or grade 8. And the struggle for me was that I didn't know anyone. And a lot of people didn't necessarily know about Trinidad. So I got picked on a lot in school. I was bullied in school. So I think that I missed having, the comfort space of having my friends at my schools and so forth. But just having that, home vibe was hard for me because people didn't relate to me. They knew about Jamaicans, but they were kind of like, where are you from? What's Trinidad? Which boat did you come off of? So it was definitely, it was difficult.
Okay, believe me, I heard all the stories, and I think every person from a foreign country, an island, it doesn't matter. Once it's a foreign country, have some kind of story. But would you say whatever story you have made you stronger and made you the person you are today?
100%.
And what is the greatest lesson you think you learned from that?
What did I learn from that? I would say I actually learned to not judge people based on that, because after a period of time, when I got into high school and people really got to know me, it was a very welcoming vibe. So a lot of my high school life got better because people actually took the time to find out about my culture in Trinidad, and I was able to share with them. So I feel like, a lot of these people would have judged me because off the bat, they don't know where I'm from. They don't know anything about me, and that's the first reaction. So I think that it has helped me realize that, just because I meet someone and I may not know anything about them doesn't mean that I should judge them based on my, so I would say that that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned.
Okay, because all the time I was trying not to judge you, so you now taught me something. So very good. See, she's very nice. See, all them things I said about her before, I'm going to delete it off her Instagram. So one of the things in your articles in Caribbean Elite, right? You said you made a lot of connections along the way. You want to shout out some of those connections so people know you know people, or is that secret?
I mean, we can shout out Private Ryan, Skinny Fabulous, Nadia Batson, a lot of the soca artists and DJs I have a very close relationship with. But again, those things come with time. It wasn't an overnight situation that I just met them and then we became friends. It took a lot of networking and building relationships and so forth over the years for me to now be able to say, hey, that's my friend.
So, because a lot of people with connections and stuff like that, right? Because even if you know a lot of people or people know you, how can you people or someone who wants to do some of the stuff you're doing, how can they leverage some of those connections? Because just because you know someone, that don't mean they're going to want to be on your show, want to do anything with you.
Right. You have to be genuine. You have to come, it has to come from a genuine space. It can't be a situation where, you know, I see Donna and I know that Donna does this and I want to be, you know, in her friend circle because I know what Donna could bring to the table. It has to come from a genuine space of, you know, this person is really dope and I really want to get to know them and I want to support them and I want to be a part of their tribe. So it has to, like I said, it has to come from a genuine space because people read energy. So a lot of the times you come into contact and, you know, the old saying like, my blood don't take that person is because that person is already coming with an intent. That person is coming to you with some kind of purpose outside of just getting to know you or wanting to love you or wanting to support you. So I would say that, you know, when you meet people and if it's people that you see that it's like, hey, I want to work with that person or I want to, you know, be friends with that person. I think it's very important to really evaluate, you know, why do you want to be friends with this person or why do you want to work with this person and approach the situation, you know, in a very genuine and real way. And of course, you know, supporting them. A lot of people don't support other people. So if I know that I want to support you, you know, I would repost your shows. I would talk about it because this is somebody that I genuinely want to have a relationship with. So anything that she's doing, I should be supporting it.
Okay, so all I hear that first, she's going to start supporting me and I'm genuine and she already liked me because she on the show, okay? This is recorded, Kerra. You can't change your mind now. It's too late. So one of the things everyone know that currently we're going through the pandemic, we slowly coming out. Some people have to go back in. But one of the things that I like to focus on with all the situation that's going on, what are some positives that you have had come out of this current situation? Because everyone is talking about all the negatives, and I don't like to focus on that.
I would say that one of the most positive things is me being able to actually take my events into the virtual space. So initially when, you know, this pandemic happened, I had to cancel 7 events for this year. So I was actually scheduled to introduce 3 new events in 3 new countries. And I was really depressed for the, you know, first couple of weeks of the situation. And then I obviously decided that, okay, I need to be able to pivot and I need to figure out another way of moving forward. So I decided to take the event to digital space and it was really well received. I actually had at my first event, 679 people from around the world locked in to the first women's event, Caribbean Women's Power Lunch event virtually. So I think that for me, that was a huge success. And then I think it really made me realize that, you know, the pandemic was a blessing because now I'm able to actually, you know, bless other people around the world who can't physically come to an event, who can't come to Trinidad, who can't come to Grenada. They're able to log on virtually. And all of the events were actually held complimentary. So there was no fee associated to any of the events that I've held. Because again, I wanted to be able to give back to the community. You know, although everyone is struggling right now, I know that my God will take care of me. So I want to be able to continue to walk in my purpose and continue to help other people. So I would say that for sure was a huge blessing. And then I reintroduced my Plugged In series where I interview various people in the community, kind of like this show. And I decided to take it to my IG Live series. And I've now done 12 weeks of the series. And a lot of people message me saying, hey, like, I never saw this side of this person. It's really amazing to learn, you know, about them. So the idea behind Plugged In is to use each person's struggles and successes as a tool of inspiration. You know, you can log on Tuesdays, get a little inspiration. And I have a lot of relationships with some of the guests that are on the show. So I know them in a certain capacity. So I'm able to actually ask them questions that the average person would probably never know the answer to. So it's really, you know, enlightening. So in a way, it's definitely been a blessing. It's been a struggle for sure, but it's definitely been a blessing where I'm able to actually still give back to my community.
You know what I can't understand about this, Miss Kerra? Every question I ask her is like she have it written down somewhere and she studied it. I don't understand. Thank you for that perfectly well rehearsed perfect answer. Can you take the paper down from the computer now? Jeez and ages. But I want you to say something about your Caribbean Woman Power Lunch that you started in 2018. Just tell people a bit of the reason you even started it.
Well, I found that there was a void in our community. I used to fly, you know, to the States, San Francisco, New York for personal development conferences. And I found that, you know, when I looked to my left and I looked to my right, I never really saw any Caribbean sisters, you know, it was a lot of Black American ladies. So I've done a lot of those. And I felt that, you know, because we didn't have something like that within the Caribbean, I wanted to try to create something that could bring Caribbean women together. You know, there's a lot of small events that happen that people do, workshops and so forth, which is great. But for me, I just felt as though there was no real space for women to commune in different countries on this scale. So I decided to try to, you know, fill a small, itty little piece of that hole, that gap, by creating Caribbean Women's Power Lunch. So Caribbean Women's Power Lunch is really just a platform to celebrate our women, to empower our women, you know, to network and just be a part of a sisterhood. So the event itself is not only for Caribbean women. Anyone from any walk of life can be a part of the event. You know, you can be from Sweden, you can be from Australia. We welcome everyone, but I want to highlight Caribbean women at these events. So last month, I actually just celebrated my 2-year anniversary. I think collectively, I've had about 56 speakers in total. I've done 11 events, including the 3 virtual. And I have had, I want to say about 2,000 persons in total between the physical events and virtual events. And now those people have actually, you know, built relationships with each other. Like I get messages all the time saying, hey, like I met this person from this country and I started a not-for-profit, or, you know, I connected with her and we're doing a fashion line, or, you know, just so many different stories of people just actually coming together, Caribbean women coming together and supporting one another and being there for one another. So it was really important, especially because I've always been part of a male-dominated industry working in entertainment, and most of my friends are male. You know, I have about 5 girlfriends that are my closest friends, but for the most part, a lot of my friends are male. So I wanted to be able to, you know, have other women come together and feel as though they're actually being supported by other females, because I think in this day and age, we all feel that. A lot of us, you know, same thing, you look to your left, you look to your right, and you're kind of like, I don't have that many sisters that I can look to. So I wanted to make a space where people have a tribe that supports them.
With that said, we're going to take a short break, and I'm going to show a clip at what Kerra does best, talking in one of the Caribbean Woman Power Luncheon event. And you'll hear her sexy, sultry voice in the background. So come on right back, and so we can hear more what Kerra has to say. No, Kerra, just put the paper down, okay? So we're just going to have normal conversation now. Okay.
I really wanted to create a platform for women of color, Caribbean women, to come together, unite, to feel empowered, to be inspired, and to be part of something bigger than just us.
What I have come to realize myself is that I have to accept who I am and represent what I am, and not be too concerned with what you think I should be.
So what I want you guys to do right now is close your eyes and think of what your goal or your aspiration is. By any means necessary goal is. In order to do that, you have to make plans. You have to write it down, and you can write it down and leave it somewhere, but it won't get done unless you have the steps to it.
I think the biggest message that I can give to you guys from what I've learned is to go for it by any means necessary.
Welcome back to the Miss Francois Show. MSS, right? Multi-talented and super sexy. Yes, I don't mind sharing my space with other sexy women like Kerra Denel, okay? We women supposed to be together. That's why she is the host, and she's a CEO and founder of the Caribbean Woman Power Lunch, right? And why it wasn't breakfast and it wasn't dinner?
Because everyone does like brunch and everyone does breakfast things. So I wanted to do, so like the name actually came because I was like, everyone does brunch, I want to do lunch. That's actually my tagline. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be different. I didn't want brunch. I didn't want breakfast. I didn't want dinner, because a lot of people don't do anything surrounding lunch.
True.
So it was, and then, you know, when you think of power lunch, you know, when you get together with business colleagues and you're masterminding and all that stuff, it's kind of like, you know, Caribbean women's power lunch.
So, man, you hear that, right? She intelligent, she's smart, she beautiful, she has many businesses, obviously. So how a man supposed to trap you? If you're too busy, tell me. Since I've been trying to get you and I can't get a hold of you. I mean, thank you for always returning my taxes and so forth and so on. But if your week is busy every second of the day. After this, you was late to the interview because you was busy. Now when you finish the interview, you're gonna be leaving to do something. How a man supposed to trap you? You tell me that.
He just has to come really good.
Okay, so that means you had for Trinidadians, she mean obia, and Americans, you had to put some voodoo, something in the power luncheon, just sprinkle something in she juice or food, and you go trap she. Because a lot of times I would say, because it's a relationship focused show, so I have to get in your business. How a lot of times men might say they're intimidated, like dealing with a woman like you. Like, have you experienced that? And if you have, how do you even deal with that?
I don't think anyone has ever directly said it to me, but the guys that are in my circle make the comment all the time. They said that, you're very strong-minded and you're independent. So they said a lot of guys would not want to approach you. Like, they would be scared of approaching you because they don't want to be shut down. So, because I've never actually had to like deal with somebody conversing with someone and someone saying, like, okay, I don't want to do this because you seem like you have too much going on. I can't really speak on that. I guess I'm fortunate in that sense to not have to deal with that. But it's definitely difficult, being in this position and, wanting to date and so forth, because there are a lot of really good men out there that might be intimidated by, someone like me or just other women like yourself who are driven, who are motivated, and who don't really need anyone to do anything for themselves because they can do it. You can do it for yourself, right? So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I would say that I'm not dating or anything right now. So I would say that if it is someone that is interested in me, like, I would want them to be how I am. I would want them to be confident. I would want them to, whether you email me as the first contact or whatever it is, and be confident in yourself and know that, because I feel like people lack confidence in general. That's something that, our society, and it's not something that happens overnight. I mean, I may seem like the most confident person in the world, but at the same point in time, there's stuff that I would deal with just like every other human. Right. But I think that people really, especially when it comes to like relationships, like if you want something, I always tell people in general, you should go for it. But in a relationship, if I see you and I'm like, hey, like she seems really dope, like I want to connect with her, like I have to be confident in myself to approach a situation, because if I come to you and I'm shy or, I seem timid, you're not going to be receptive of that, because you're going to kind of just shy away. Like, okay, does this person want to talk to me, or do they not want to talk to me? So, in these kinds of situations, we definitely want the other person, whether it be male or female, to be confident in their approach. And consistency is very important as well, because given our lifestyles, you want somebody that's going to be able to be putting in that time and effort to get to know you. It can't be a one-off situation. They call you today and then weeks pass and like you're interested in me, but you're not consistent with that interest. And again, that's another flaw when it comes to relationships, because I hear it all the time in conversations with my girlfriends that, their boyfriends or their husbands are not consistent in their relationships, and that causes a lot of issues. So I'm not even sure if I've actually answered the question that you asked me, but I guess I say all this. It is difficult being in this position and having to date now.
Okay, so what I heard is Kerra want a man, and all you men out there, you need to pull up your pants, be confident, and walk up to this woman and say, hey, I's the man for you, and I want you, and just grab she hand and walk out the building, okay? But just so you know, I'm still trying to find one first, so she's second, all right? But she tell you exactly what she just wanted. Men, you're welcome.
I would prefer, don't touch me.
You hear her tone and her voice. Don't touch me. You see, that's why she's scaring men away. You see how you're scaring men away? They're like, oh. Another thing, right? Like, you travel a lot. Like, where are you in Trinidad right now?
I'm in Trinidad right now.
Oh, well, you can't leave anyway, so it don't really matter.
Exactly. So, very much close.
But you travel a lot. What are some of the things, or what is one of the most important things you have learned traveling to different places? And name some places you have been, for instance.
So I have been to San Andres. Let me just run through this list in my head. So San Andres is actually an island off of Colombia, but I've been to Costa Rica, Dominican, Cuba, Grenada, Jamaica, Barbados, France, London.
Okay, now she's showing off. I just say a couple, she say, all right, I will stop you right there.
A couple is like 5.
Yes, a couple is 2, you see, But have you learned anything from traveling? Because some people, when they obviously stay in one place, they think, like a lot of people in New York, They think New York is it. But it's amazing when you travel outside and you see different things and you meet different people. So what have you learned from traveling?
I've learned humility, because a lot of times, like you said, you live in a space, you know, whether it be in Trinidad or New York, and you think like this is the end all. And people don't think about the rest of the world. Like Trinidad is a dot on the map. New York is a bigger dot on the map. But there's a lot of people that live in a lot of different places that have less than you do, you know, and there's so many things going on in so many other places that I feel like I always tell people that it is important for you to travel, because travel enriches your life. So all of the places that I've gone to has taught me in some capacity, or reminded me, I would say, that I need to remain humble, because at any given moment, something can be taken away from me. You know, like all of these material things that we surround ourselves with, the nice cars, the nice houses, those things are all great, but it's important for you to remain humble and remember that, you know, you are a child of God. Like at any given moments, you know, he can say, okay, you know what, you're getting a little too far ahead here, and let me just pull you back down, which is what COVID did.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, COVID has stripped everyone of everything. We are all, doesn't matter how much money you have, all of us are at home. You're all stuck at home. You know, there's no income being generated for a lot of people because of the situation. So I would say that traveling and seeing how a lot of people live and how happy these people are has really just reminded me, you know, every single time that I need to be grateful, for all of the things that I have, you know, for life, for being able to see, for being the simple things, for being able to walk, to touch, to smell, to taste, and to have family, to have loved ones, to have opportunity, like all of the things that we take for granted on a daily basis. You know, these people in certain countries like San Andres is an island off of Colombia, and you know, it's not really touristy, I would say. It kind of is, but kind of isn't. But a lot of, you know, homes there are wooden houses or galvanized, and they have no running water. You know, you have to take a bucket or a thing to fill up to go to your house and so forth, right? And I remember when I went there, I had met this family that I was kind of just walking off the resort, went to the beach, and I met this guy who had a bar, and his family was there. And he was like, you know, next week I want to invite you and your friends to come over to our house. And I was there with my girlfriends, and we were kind of like, I don't know, we don't know these people. Like, should we go? You know, whatever. And I just always believe what is for me, and what's not is not. And, you know, when my time comes, that's going to be my time. So I was like, I have nothing to lose. So let's go. So they came and they picked us up on mopeds, and we went. And their house was like in the country. There's no other houses around them. It's just like a farm type situation. And these people were just so happy to meet us. Mm-hmm. And they just loved our energy that they, when I tell you a spread, like they cooked so much food. And we walked into the house, and I'm a foodie. So I walked into the house and I was like, oh my gosh, but they treated us like family. And I say all that to say, these people didn't know us. They also didn't even have much, but they felt so inclined to show us their culture and their food and their country. And it was really beautiful, because a lot of people don't do those things. You know, a lot of people are not kind. And for me, kindness is a very, very big thing. So traveling, I've had those kinds of experiences where I've thought about, you know, like, I have so much, which is why I have Kerra Loves Kids, my not-for-profit. I think it's very important to always give back. So I give back to the children in my community. But, you know, traveling really teaches you that even when you have, if you have like a little bit or you have a lot, you have to be thankful for what you have, because there's a lot of people that don't have and are living, you know, this happy life and an enriched life. And there's people that have so much that are not happy. So it really makes you reevaluate and say, okay, you know what? Like, I need to give thanks for the things that I do have in my life. Because again, at any moment, those things could be gone and I could never have it again.
And that's one thing I wanted to touch on. The Kerra Loves the Kids. Like, how did that even come about, and how long have you had that organization?
Kerra Loves Kids has been around since 2015, so it's been about 5 years. It actually started after my grandmother, passed away. My mom also, but my grandmother passed away, and I would say she was a pillar in the community. We didn't come from a lot, and she always opened up her doors to everyone in the neighborhood. So kids, you know, if they were getting beat at their house, they would go to my grandmother's house, or if someone didn't have somewhere to live, my grandmother would take them in. So my grandmother just always gave back to the community. And, you know, my grandmother was a very, very big part of my life. So I wanted to be able to do something to carry on her legacy, because that's what she taught me. She always taught me about being kind and giving back to others. And my mother's the same way. You know, my mom passed, and now CWPL is dedicated to my mom. Initially, when I did it, you know, she was obviously a driving force because anything I do is inspired, you know, by my parents and what they've taught me and so forth. But now CWPL Global is my mom's legacy. You know, the colors for it and everything represents my mom. The logo represents my mom. So yeah, that's kind of how it came about. So I've always had this, I've always loved kids. I don't have any of my own, but I've always loved kids. I'm always that auntie, you know, that I'm coming over, I just want to spend the afternoon with the kids or whatever the case is. And I felt that this was the right thing to do for me because I love kids, so it perfectly aligns with my actual love. I love people in general. And, you know, there's a lot of kids that need support and need love. And children are the next generation, like they are the future at the end of the day. So we need to be able to show them from young how great of a leader that they can be. We have to be able to shape and mold them. So I work with orphanages in Trinidad where I put together events. It's nothing extravagant, but I will host like an event. I'll have my friends come. I'll have an artist come through or a DJ, and we spend the day with them and we show them that we love them and we appreciate them. And, you know, even though they're living in these terrible, like just, they've gone through such tragic situations, these children, you know, living in these orphanages. I want them to know that even being in those circumstances, that they can be great. You know, there are people that will love them and will support them. And that's just, you know, what I want to do for them.
Right. Oh, Lord. She take my show and want to make people cry now. I hear your dog in the back, the dog which is interrupt every interview you had. I hear the dog in the back.
My dog. It's not even my dog.
But you know what's the best part? When you do your little interview, the interviews and everything, when you do live, this is you hear the dog and you like all calm, like, yes. Yeah. And I'm like, and I show you in mine, like, I want to choke the dog.
Maybe they'll think it's the guest dog, so they don't blame me. So if I stay really quiet, maybe they won't know it's mine.
So what is next for Kerra Denel?
What is next? Well, I'm going to be continuing to do virtual events. I'm not 100% sure as to what date my next women's event will be, but I'm going to be implementing different types of events, into the virtual space. So people can look out for that. Now that this is the new normal, I'm not 100% sure when we're going to be able to go back outside. Like the entertainment world is literally at a standstill. We have no idea when we're going to work at a carnival, at a event, like a party, or a physical Caribbean Women's Power Lunch event. So at this point, I'm just creating for the digital space. So I'm not going to let any cats out the bag yet, but you know, they can just follow me and they will see as it comes to life.
And with that, tell people how they could get in touch with you.
You guys can follow me on all platforms at Kerra Denel. So it's KerraDenel. Also check out CWPL Global. So that's at CWPL Global, and Kerra Loves Kids at Kerra, KerraLoves Kids. So Kerra Denel, CWPL, and Kerra Loves Kids. I'm on all platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the website they're all those names as well.
With that, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know after this, I know what you're running outside to do. It dark outside in Trinidad. Stay home. So thank you again, Kerra. As you all know, you are watching the Miss Francois Show Home Edition. That's MSS, multi-talented and super sexy. You can catch me on all social media platforms. And I must say, Kerra is one of the easiest guests. I didn't even have to talk much. She talked out my whole half an hour on herself. Honestly, I didn't even have to show up. I could have just let her say Miss Francois Show and do the whole interview by herself. But anyway, it was lovely meeting you. And we come to the end of our show.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope that you continue to do this. This is a great platform. Continue to share your light with the world. Stuff like this is needed and necessary because people need to hear, you know, about what other people are doing so that they can support them and continue to support you as well. So thank you for being a light in the world and continue to share your love. And again, you know, thanks for having me today. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much, love. Have an awesome night, okay?
You too.
Bye, love.